Hello there, pipe smokers. It's Burn-A-Briar, and this is the first video I've uploaded in a very long time. Yes, a really long time. I think it's probably coming up to a couple of years, and for that I'm very sorry. For those of you who are interested in my videos and the direction I was going, I am sorry. So I haven't uploaded anything in a while, but my life has been pretty hectic. Since I finished university, I did end up getting myself a job. I was working full-time in central London every day for about 1.5 years. I've only just finished that stint of work, and I'm now ready to move on, and I'll be starting a master's course in architecture in September. And yes, I'm looking forward to it. And I have been smoking my pipes whilst I've been away from YouTube, and I've been enjoying them a lot. Recently I've gone through quite a smoky phase. It's probably one way to put it. I've been trying lots of new tobaccos and smoking different types of blend and enjoying them all. So I thought for this video I'd show you some of the pipes that I've acquired in the time that I've been away. I thought that would be a good video to sort of bridge the gap, so to speak. And yes, that's what I'll do. So I'll begin with some housekeeping. I'm smoking my Ben Wade Elegance pipe, and sorry, I'm being interrupted by my cat. She's making squeaks at me. Fortunately, her sister died not so long ago, so she gets quite needy, and if anybody's around the house, she likes a fuss to be made. I'm sorry. Interrupt me later. Go on. Shoo. So where was I? Yes, housekeeping. This is one of the pipes I've acquired since I last made a video. I received this as a Christmas present from my brother, and it is beautiful. So I'm smoking my Ben Wade of London, and it's an Elegance Churchwarden, and it's a cutty. And it's a sort of smooth pipe, smooth briar pipe with some fantastic tight grain on it. With both bird's eye and flame grain elements. I think it's beautiful, and it's still breaking it in, but so far it has smoked wonderfully. And I'm smoking in it, and indeed breaking it in with, some Hyde Park by Peterson, which I acquired some time ago now. A couple of years ago, I went to Dublin and I bought this in the Peterson shop in Dublin, just around the corner from Grafton Street. Not entirely sure what I make of Hyde Park. I think if you have a lot of time on your hands and you're able to sit down and smoke it very, very gently with no interruptions, it's a really, really enjoyable tobacco. But I've found I've not been able to enjoy it unless I've been in that specific situation, and so unlike many tobaccos which I can enjoy whilst on a walk or whilst getting on with something, this isn't one of those, and so I'm not entirely sure I rate it all that highly. It's definitely got a bit of the Lakeland element, and I believe it might be made by Garth and Hogarth, which would explain that. And I do like their tobaccos generally. I mean, it's not really that I dislike this one, it's just you have to have the time and the patience to really make the most of it, in my opinion. So yes, I'll start with this pipe, given to me by my brother, Christmas, and it's got a vulcanite stem and a briar bowl in the cutty shape, which I think is a very nice shape for a Churchwarden pipe, because it resembles some of the original European clay pipes when tobacco was first brought to Europe by explorers from the Americas. And so I think it's quite a suitable shape for a long-stemmed reeding pipe. And even though it's still very much in the breaking in process, still building up that carbon cake, it smokes so cool. If the bowl gets hot down there, the smoke is still cool up there. I think that's one of the main draws to a Churchwarden. They're not particularly practical, but if you have time to sit down and reflect, I think a Churchwarden is the perfect tool for a very relaxing smoke. So that's that. Another pipe I acquired belonged to my great-grandfather, my father's mother's father, and comes in a leather case, so as you've probably guessed, it is a meerschaum with an amber stem, a bent billiard, but quite an elegant bent billiard, quite a fine curve, and the meerschaum seems to be very high quality. I've smoked this pipe a few times now since it was given to me. I found it sitting on a shelf gathering dust in my great uncle's house, and it was his father's pipe. And I said to him, you know, I smoke a pipe, but I've got a fair collection. And he said, well, I don't smoke a pipe, so if you'd like to take it off my hands, by all means do, because currently it's doing nothing but sitting around getting old. So I took it off his hands, and he was fine to part with it. I don't think for him it was anything other than the sort of sentimental value and memory of his father, and he's got lots of things by which he can remember his father by. So yeah, I got it and cleaned it up a bit. I've got rid of as much of the black from the top of the bowl as I could, because it was quite caked in tar. And I've given it a good few smokes, and it smokes beautifully. It really does. The flavour of the smoke is so pure and enjoyable. It doesn't smoke some of the Oriental or Latakia based tobaccos as well, as perhaps a briar, which I've reserved for that type of tobacco. But there's a tobacco I've been smoking, a bit of a light aromatic called Glen Piper by Robert McConnell, and whenever I've had a bowl of that in that pipe, it has been wonderful. Sorry, I am being continuously interrupted by my cat. If you're hearing sort of knockings around in the background, it's her. I think it's because I'm talking. She probably thinks I'm talking to her and doesn't understand why I'm not paying her more attention. So I am sorry it's disrupting this video. So yes, that was another pipe I've got, and wonderful, two fantastic new smokers. The third, and in a way final, though would like to show you something else, pipe that I've acquired in the time since I last made a video, is this one. And I actually bought that just a couple of days ago, on my last day at work in London. Working in central London, it didn't take me long to catch the underground to St James Street, and I popped into Davidoff and bought myself a clay. Haven't smoked it yet, but I do plan to. It's clay pipes are quite cheap, and they're still made here in England in the traditional way. And I thought, what's the harm, eh? It's a small little thing and quite a cheap little thing. Clay pipes smoke well, and no doubt it will one day break and I'll have to throw it away and replace it. But I quite fancied it. This one in particular just stood out to me. That cutty shape. Yeah, earlier I was referring to the traditional clay pipes and that appropriate Churchwarden shape. Well, here's a good reference. And I'm looking forward to smoking it. I'm considering smoking it in the next couple of days. I managed to acquire some Esoterica Tabacciana Penzance. It was sent to me by a fellow Englishman who I think has quite a lot in his tobacco cellar. And he asked me whether I'd ever tried it, and I said no. So he sent me some over very generously, and it's quite nice, very, very nice. I am beginning to see anyway what the hype is about. There is something quite special going on there. So perhaps this will get christened with some Penzance. Which is actually just sitting beside me. And I mentioned there's something else I wanted to show you. Probably just after I made my last video, which I believe was October 2017, although I could be wrong. I got given these two. Now, these pipes belonged to my great-great-great-grandfather on my mother's side, a man called William Harding. And these are quite special in that they wouldn't have been purchased by him, they'd have been made. The bowls appear to be lumps of tree that he'd cut himself, but something like ash, I think, and varnished down, and he's obviously got a lathe to it and hollowed out a bowl. And then again the stems are branch. On this one, he looks like he might have got hold of some vulcanite to give himself a mouthpiece on this pipe here. On this one, it looks as though he's carved it from horn, probably a deer horn. These would have been made in Victorian times, I imagine, probably early Victorian. And I don't smoke them. I don't really even consider them part of my pipe collection, which is why they were sort of a little bonus addition to the video, really. They're family heirlooms, and as I am sort of the only pipe smoker in my generation of my family, I think it was quite fitting that they were given to me, or that's how it was seen anyway. So they sit in a cabinet in my living room at my parents' house where I currently reside. And I do take them out and have a look at them from time to time because they're interesting, and they're fully functional, though I don't suppose they'd smoke nearly as well as the pipes that I smoke, they being carved out of a lump of tree, essentially, and varnished. But interesting pipes. Ever so heavy. I mean, you could probably use this as quite an effective club. But it's nice, isn't it? I'm sure there's many of us out there who have objects. My pipe keeps going out. I'm sorry. Objects that have been in the family for a long, long time. I wouldn't be aware of William Harding if it weren't for these pipes. So sometimes it's nice because when you've departed this world, you leave behind your belongings, and some of them may survive generations being passed down, and in a way, through your belongings and through these objects that get passed down, your memory lives on, and so that's nice. I'd say this Penzance Hyde Park. It's particularly good to retrohale through the nose. It's quite a strong flavour, much stronger through the nose than it is through the mouth actually. It leaves you with a sort of caramel sensation halfway between your mouth and your nose. I'm probably describing this awfully and not very technical with my descriptions of pipe tobacco. And actually, whilst we're on the subject of tobacco, I have recently been suffering with a bit of tobacco acquisition disorder. I think it's called TAD here on the YouTube pipe smoking community. Trouble is, when you're into your tobaccos and smoking a pipe, and you suddenly start to earn money, as I have done for the last year and a half, it's sometimes quite difficult not to continuously acquire new blends that you're interested in. But as I've mentioned before, I'm not all that a regular smoker. I don't really smoke. Sorry, my camera cut out on me. As I was just saying, I'm not I smoke a pipe fairly regularly, but not all that regularly, so I seem to have ended up with more tobacco than I need, really. And it's now that I've finished work, I think it's quite important that I make sure I don't buy any more, because I've got quite a bit sitting in the cellar. And indeed, I've got quite a few tobaccos that will do well with age, so I've stored them away and cellaring them. Yes, I've probably babbled on quite a bit now, so I'll leave it at that. But sorry I've been away for so long. I've been very busy. I've got a little bit of time off now before I start university, perhaps the quiet before the storm in my life. And if I get the opportunity, I may well make another video or two before I end up resuming my studies. I'll be studying this time in London. I don't know if any of you remember, but I was in Bournemouth before. So thank you those of you who stayed subscribed to my channel, and thank you for continuing to make such great videos. I have been watching the videos of the YTPC, and I've been enjoying just seeing how how all of you are doing. So thank you very much. I don't think I'll do any shout outs or anything. I'll just once again apologise for my long absence. I hope you're well and enjoy your pipes. Goodbye.